talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well,
The following.
good morning and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Paige Clarke, and this is where we explore our return to our more natural, balanced, wild world.
So we can recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And I'm Nico and Haan, and welcome. It's a wild start here, but it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater.
You know, it's kind of a rainy day. We had a rainy day yesterday, probably today, but we needed the rain, 77 degrees. I hope you're enjoying nice weather where you are. So make sure you subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. Always great news you can use. Nico's got a new issue out, kind of covers his Bigfoot adventure, which is exciting. We can live vicariously through him, and other great health and common sense tips for being healthier. And pick up some of our Primal Edge daily nutrition.
You got that right. And the number here is 877-927-6648. You can always reach us after the show on the email.
Paige at TFNN.com.
And Nico at TFNN.com.
Awesome.
What are we talking about today, Paige?
Well, I kind of wanted to go over something that I saw that was an overview of an attorney who attended a Codex Aluminaris meeting, a special committee meeting. Mm-hmm. And this gentleman was attended the name of the article is called Crashing Monsanto's Pesticide Party in Beijing. And I think it's just got a lot of important information to highlight to all of you that this is happening before our very eyes.
Yeah, this Codex Alimentarius is a organization that is part of the EU, right?
Part of the United Nations.
The United Nations is part of the EU, and this is a...
the EU is adapting the Codex Aluminaris,
right.
but Codex Aluminaris is actually more of a UN function.
Okay.
And the Codex Aluminaris function has been going on for a long time, and it really is... in my opinion, an opportunity to limit the access we have to natural foods and to supplementation particularly.
Well, this is important for the food industry because it kind of forces countries and companies to be all in one. In other words, they want the same regulations for everybody, they want the same type of food for everybody, and they want to actually dictate
it's
what
kind
we
of part
can...
of that one world plan that is
one
the
world
really,
trade system type of thing. Yeah.
With the crux of why the UN was created. But let's share this. I think this is a really insightful quote at the opening of the article. It says, "A business that makes nothing but business is a poor business."
Yeah, Henry Ford said that.
Henry Ford, pretty cool. But anyways, the chemical companies have been running amok for years, kind of unchallenged, and they attended the Codex Aluminaris Committee on Pesticide Residuals, CCPR, and this is kind of their playground, and as the article says, and they know it. So all the characters are there. Monsanto, Syngenta,
DuPont, Dow, Bayer, the German company, all the agro companies are there. And they're all snuggling together at the Codex, it says here.
Yeah, and they have a front group called Crop Life. They always kind of, use things that sound like it's, like it's something good.
Sure.
But they sent, close to 40 representatives to their session, and it was held in Beijing, China, the last week of April. And it was basically they were there to coerce, charm, and bedazzle government regulators. And many of those regulators, especially from the Australian and the New Zealand ones, have long been seduced into believing that pesticides can be safely applied in near endless amounts and varieties, or they just simply don't care about the ill effects at all. But these two countries particularly really seem to be getting sucked in with this committee.
The thing is of course, the amount of pesticides that are used on an annual basis is really something. Just in the United States alone, 1 billion pounds of pesticides are used. Worldwide, that amounts to almost 6 billion.
That's that is just absolutely staggering, in my opinion. And in many developed countries, programs to control pesticide exposure are limited or non-existent, so they don't have the infrastructure to protect themselves from these creepy creepers. No pun intended, really. The agricultural companies tell us these compounds are safe, and they assure adequate food production to feed the world, but the facts are telling another story today, and we've got to start looking at these facts.
Yeah, I agree.
So
the report went on to say that the increased food production has not succeeded in eliminating hunger worldwide, and of course it hasn't, because you're not bringing the food to the people, and not good food either.
Yeah, right. And this might actually be pretty conservative figures, is what we're saying. But according to Sayer G., founder of GreenMed Info, and the NHF vice chairman, has said glyphosate is poisoning our soils, destroying our gut microbiome, and laying the foundation for destroying our ability to produce healthy foods for future generations. And the industry and regulators that claim that glyphosate is safe for humans and animals because the means by which it kills weeds, the Shikimate pathway, is not present in humans and animals.
Yes, however.
Yes, that's right.
There is always a however.
There's already a however.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's actually the thing that we're concerned about is that gut microdome. All these bacteria that we have do have that pathway.
Shikimate pathway. They do.
Yeah.
And what did we learn? We are 10 times, our bodies,
Yes.
10 times the microbiotics. I mean, in other words, there's more cells that are not us than are us.
In other words, the pathway that they're saying that we do not have is
all our bacteria
do, and this is really what keeps us healthy, as we've discovered over these last decade.
You got it, Nico. The glyphosate preferentially destroys gut bacteria, and this thereby allows disease and inflammation to occur. So this is really important. We're going to get back and we're going to talk about the solution and continue with this eye-opening article when we get back. So stay with us. We'll be right with you.
Number here is 877-927-6648. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back to the show. And we're talking about these companies that bring poisons to us through, insecticides and weed killers and things like that. And these companies that we mentioned earlier, Monsanto and Dow and Bayer, these companies, remember, the first thing on their mind is profit for their stockholders. Our health is really on the back burner. And this is the case with most companies in the world now, because we're really a profit base. We have to have that profit above paying everybody. We still have to have a profit for those people who hold the certificates. And that's what's the real problem that I see in our society is health is always on the back burner because there's always something. It's the money first. So let's talk about some of the solutions.
So, this lawyer who represents the Natural Health Federation, Scott Tips, what is the solution? The quick solution to the glyphosate problem is to do exactly what was finally done to the nasty pesticide DDT. This is in the same vein, folks. Ban it. We need to ban this. This is bad news. Glyphosate is a deadly and persistent poison that affects more than just plants and animals and pollinators in life. It harms many different aspects of the environment as well, and yet it's not the only herbicide and pesticide that deserves our immediate attention. They are continuing to come up with more toxic cocktails.
Yeah, and they hide them in things like fertilizers and that too. So it becomes more of a problem.
And they said at this conference, he says that this was apparent because at this CCPR meeting in Beijing, there was a growing list of soon-to-be approved new toxic chemicals, pesticides that were being before the committee for its consideration. I mean, these are all things that, like everything else, you can't even pronounce them. You can't recognize
it's
them.
Not just the large companies that are using these on these big fields. We're talking about the everyday person in the United States is using this to weed their garden with.
Oh, yeah. How many bottles of the Roundup? Now, the nice thing that we need to be aware of, I say the nice, not nice, I mean, it's a bad thing, but you must get the knowledge that the Roundup is not the only one. It's off patent now.
Right.
So other companies are using the same chemical.
Oh, no doubt about it, too. And remember I had that client that walked in and talked about, I hadn't been in Florida in a long time, and where are all the birds? And here in Bel Air, where I live, is a bird sanctuary.
Used to be a bird sanctuary, yeah.
It still is, just not as many birds. Direct correlation between the insects and the birds, because we're killing all these insects, we're killing the weeds. And as you said often, a lot of these weeds are edible and they're really good for us. They're still wild.
Right.
Yeah, so they're surviving despite all this. Yeah. So that's how strong they are.
Whenever I share a lot of this information, people go, "Come on, Paige."
I know that. People, we get those looks.
Yeah, that eye roll. That these people couldn't possibly be doing this. Why would they? It would hurt them and their family.
No, it actually helps them and their family because of the money.
Well, they make the money and they can afford the treatments and the antidotes. Don't think there's not antidotes.
Well, also,
I believe there's antidotes that are privy to certain people.
But just remember, I think the richer you are, the more you are away from nature. You're building a bigger house. You're building the bigger garage. We're the only species on Earth that thinks we're not part of nature. We're not part of this world. I don't know how we got here, but we're here.
Yeah, it's a sad
we
thing.
really need to live as part of nature. And I think once we start doing that on a modern level with our technology, we're going to have a fantastic world. We need to start today.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So let's get a little bit back to the meeting. There were all these, as we said, the cast and crew, Monsanto, Dow, Agrochemical, Syngenta, Bayer, DuPont, etc., were all there. And representing the NHF, there would be the European Union, because they were really tired. The EU is really fighting to keep Monsanto's and these chemical companies out of there, and Norway. And
they're really trapped because of the Codex.
Yeah, exactly. And armed with the research provided by talented NHF researchers, this lawyer, Scott Tipps, spoke out for the next 4 days against these A to Z chemical cocktails that are coming out. And the EU delegates came out and were quite good and made reservations for the record about the draft minimum residual limits that's been going on. And, you know, they just really are putting their heart out there, a lot of these people that are representing the people, to fight against these chemical companies. And the best way we can help while they're trying to fight against these monsters and their money is to vote with our own money in our own wallet and refuse to buy this, refuse to buy the food that's grown with these pesticides, refuse to buy the chemicals that make our yards weedless, but, you know, really making
the problem that the
desolate.
EU has, and this is kind of the same problem in the United States, is the EU, that national organization, is not the one that's fighting against this. It's the individual countries that are. It's kind of like marijuana here in the United States. The federal government has a completely different look at it than the states do that allow it.
The EU is really just the states. Yeah,
but the EU has already adopted the Codex. And here are the countries fighting against it. So, you know, they've adopted this already, and this is why the fight is there. If the individual countries could make up their own mind, they would. Now they cannot.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right. So, you know, there was a lot of objection because they're really pushing to get these other, you know, maybe a lot of the reason they're introducing these other cocktails is because so many people are waking up that, the Monsanto's glyphosate, well, here, we got something else. It's just as bad.
Yeah.
But let's see if we can get this
It's kind of
approved.
like the food. Cheerios are not good, so cornflakes are okay. You know, you can go through that.
Yeah, so the Europeans feel that they really want to change a lot of these regulatory effects and these dosages and these residual levels, and they're working hard to get that happen. And additionally, bioavailability is never considered. Individuals have different abilities to properly detoxify poisons. We've talked about that a long time on here. In the end, you know, it's
an individual thing, you know. So I can detox one way, maybe you detox another way, and some things work well for me that may not work well with you. And that's the case with this. Just our natural ability to get away from these pesticides, to let your body leak them back out, is difficult for many people.
So this organization, Crop Life, and all these people, they really pushed hard, and they had, like, they had Australia and New Zealand in their pocket. I mean, this is sad because those are some beautiful countries. Think of New Zealand. What's it going to look like years from now? I don't know. But they're really pushing hard to push the pesticide agenda, but fail to protect consumers worldwide in lieu of sales. They'd much rather have the sales than protect the people. And so where were the consumer advocates to stand beside the National Health Foundation at this meeting and protect consumers' health? You know, as we mentioned, there was the EU, and there was Norway, and sometimes Chile. But notably absent were Consumers International, the International Consumers Action Organization, and the National Baby Formula Action Network, also prominent at other Codex meetings, but they were not there. So with glyphosate appearing routinely in the breast milk of nursing mothers around the world, one would think that this particular organization, the Baby Formula Action Network, would especially cry out against that travesty. Sadly and shockingly, there were no consumer organizations present to speak against the continued poisoning of our planet, of our bodies, and of the bees, except the National Health Federation. And perhaps their budgets, just like the NHF's, do not permit them to attend every Codex meeting. That's what they do. They just drown us out. They have their meetings, and they fly and stay in fancy hotels.
They have a lot of money.
A lot of money, beef it up, and those of us that are trying to have a voice can't keep up the pace. But let's find out what else is going on. We'll find out about the report when we get back.
Yep. Yes, we will. Stick around.
We'll be right back.
would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
So we're talking about the Codex Alimentarius meeting in Beijing. And so what happened? What actually happened? Well, towards the end, as they were building their final report, it became quite evident that the countries of Australia and New Zealand were outspoken about a lot of the comments by the Natural Health Federation. Again, the only organization really representing consumer health. In fact, they wanted all of NHF's comments about the ecotoxicity of a particular chemical that they were doing stricken, because Codex is supposed to be about human health and not ecological health. Right. So they just went, in fact, according to attorney Scott Tipps representing the Natural Health Foundation, he said, in my 18 years of participating in global policy setting at Codex, this level of desperation by a country or countries threatened by the Natural Health Federation has never occurred. It had never occurred. And the NHF was clearly making headway. However, keep in mind that the Australian Codex office is nothing more than a regional field office of the pesticide industry. And you will understand why Australia would do this. In his experience, Australia has never properly represented the health interest of its own people.
Yeah. One of the things is, of course, our soil is sick, and it's the reason
as a result,
sick, the pesticides, the chemical fertilizers, the monocrop, the erosion, mineral depletion, reduces the micro availability of the soil. And we're talking about things like fulvic acid that actually helps the plants assimilate all the goodness, and
It's
that's
kind
why
of a communication network for the plants.
yeah, and for us
Right.
too. And these chemicals actually ruin that whole system. This is the real problem, folks, because you remember we put the fulvic acid in our Primal Edge.
Right.
Reason being, the signaling is there, and when the signaling stops in our body, it's bad. But in the plants, it kills the plants.
You got it, Nico. That's exactly true.
Now,
So,
interesting thing. I was watching.
yeah, that's right, you were telling
when I cook, I usually put on Andrew Zimmer, the
Right.
Bizarre Foods, and I think they were in Scotland, Ireland, and they were digging in a bog. This is really cool, folks. So they were digging in about 1.5 feet down. They say this is about 1,000 years of soil. He said, so we're taking a
Digging
little
in a
bit
bog.
of digging in a bog. And this is really compacted peat and everything, And so they went down deeper, and he says this is the second 1,000 years, this is the third 1,000 years, and they're taking samples from each one. Interesting, they start to smell the stuff, and now they're using it for seasoning inside the cooking process.
there you go.
These people
Fulvic
are real,
seasoning.
and this is handed down generation from generation that these bog people use these things to add the bacteria back into the foods.
They're actually blending it into their foodstuffs. That's
It gave me
tremendous.
shivers when I was looking at that. I was, man, this is really cool.
This is very cool.
Yeah.
So fulvic acid was a topic, and he said as a counterpoint to the carnage wreaked by pesticides worldwide, organic fulvic acids are created by soil-based microorganisms to make minerals and other nutrients assimilatable by plants. And importantly, fulvic acid can and will neutralize glyphosate and even the deadly pesticide paraquat.
Yeah. So this is why we have it in there, folks.
Guys,
this is
we're
so
not messing
important.
around.
6
Yeah.
soils make for 6 plants, and 6 plants make for 6 humans and animals. The addition of fulvic acid in our diets and our soil may provide the stopgap and medium-term solution to the pesticide plague. So important to take your Primal Edge just because of this one reason.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the meantime, our planet is dying. I mean, we're actually killing off the microbe. We are killing off the ability of these microbes to communicate and to go on. So this fight rages on. There are victories, and some of them, there's like a gazillion lawsuits filed against Monsanto, but they've got big bucks. And if all it takes is for good people to remain silent, for nothing to happen. And so we have to have a voice. And so one thing is for certain, though, the truth about glyphosate and other dangerous pesticides are increasingly coming to light. People are becoming more aware. Make sure you share this information. Its days on the market are numbered. I like to think that, and no matter what Monsanto does, the only question is how much longer will people, animals, insects, fish, flies, and our environment continue to be harmed and killed before these pesticides share the fate of DDT, which is what we want. We want them banned.
Right.
We want them banned, and we want them discarded, and we want our planet back, and we want it now, and we want them out of here.
Yeah. And so there's one thing you can do. We can start making our own pesticides, can't we?
We sure can. And I found this little how to make your own do-it-yourself weed killer.
I have it right
And
up
I
here.
posted on Facebook, and people really liked it. And I hope Nico will throw it. We'll throw it into our newsletter.
Of course we will.
So you guys can grab it. Weed be gone. Simple, simple, simple. So if you really are worried about those weeds, which, as Nico and I have taught you, many of those weeds are actually natural medicine, powerful stuff that you should rever.
Yeah, so here we go. Here's the ingredients. 1 gallon of vinegar. This is probably the white vinegar we're
Just
talking
go buy
about.
yourself one of those spray things and
Yep.
start.
Or you can use the
refreshing.
old Monsanto one once you clean it out.
Yeah,
2 cups
yeah.
of Epsom salt. 1/4 cup of Dawn dish soap. Dawn is the blue original.
Yes,
Get that?
there must be some strong chemicals in that.
Well, there are. Look, soap has been used for thousands of years with gardeners.
It's a great emulsifier.
Yeah,
though, and,
it sure is. It will kill everything you spray on it. Just mix and spray in the morning after the dew has evaporated. Walk away. Go back after dinner, and the weeds are all gone.
Cheaper than anything you can buy anywhere. Never buy Roundup again. So this would be nice. And, it's a very simple recipe. So 1 gallon of vinegar, 2 cups of Epsom salt, and 1/4 cup of Dawn dish soap.
There's a little video here, which I will include in the next newsletter.
We'd be gone. There you go. I mean, this is all it takes is for us to take our remedies back. And we've got a comment in the chat room. Dying honeybees too. Exactly.
Yeah.
The pollinators are being destroyed, but and we see all this, but what we want you all to really embrace is that the microbiome that's in our environment, that's in our bodies, is what's being destroyed, even though that they keep claiming humans don't have the Shikimate pathway. The microbiome does. And the microbiome and all the microbiota, the fungus, bacterium, molds, everything that's part of our body
so it's not
is running us 10 times the cells.
It's not going to impact us directly because that pathway is not in us, but indirectly it's even worse because it's killing everything that we need to be healthy.
Think about the microbiome. That is our immune system.
Yes,
so it really is hampering what we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
And it doesn't stop there. The popular pesticides now have been linked to drops in bird populations, as I was talking about earlier. And a study published yesterday in Nature suggests that birds and bees may share a common enemy. Dutch researchers, some of my pals, of course,
that's right,
have been found a correlation between bird population and declines in the Netherlands and higher concentrations of the common pesticides that are in our groundwater now.
Yeah, and there is an alarming trend between declines of local bird populations and this pesticide, and concerns have been raised about these not just affecting the birds, but of course the bees, the birds and the bees, right? And that's kind of funny. You think about that old song, "The Birds and the Bees."
The flowers and the trees.
Yeah, but the birds and the bees are really the kind of keep the cycle going. And
that's the lifeline we have.
It's kind of tied to reproduction, and we've got some real concerns. So
the answer to our deep population is really getting the population to become those people who pollinate.
And this says, given the overall population of bugs is showing a decline, and farmland birds have been disappearing across Europe, the U.S., and everywhere. So we've got to pay attention to this, folks. We can vote with our wallets. Don't buy their stuff. Don't buy it.
That's something you can do. That's for
Be
sure.
right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
So what continues to happen when you expose these big agribusiness companies and the dangers of their pesticides and what they might be doing to us? You get attacked. Biologists is targeted for exposing the gender-bending pesticide atrazine. It's poisoning America, and this was reported on SOT.net.
Responsible for feminizing amphibians, according to his research.
Yeah, biologist Tyrone Hayes is a soft-spoken professor at the University of California with a big message. And one of the most common used pesticides in agriculture is called atrazine, and it's responsible for feminizing the amphibians, according to his research. But more importantly, the chemical is effectively eliminating male chromosomes at an alarming rate, and at levels which are 3 times lower than what they currently appear to be in the drinking water. So it isn't just lead and fluoride we need to be concerned about, but a known endocrine disruptor created by Syngenta that is utterly changing our gene pool.
Yeah, and I bet you our process of getting this out of our city water is not there. So I recommend everybody, get the Thorogoods, which is really
we've got to be able to we've got to filter our water at the point, guys. This what you get coming out of your tap is not you've got to have some type of filtration. And as we've said, bottled water, the cheap bottled water that most people are buying, is not a healthy option, because they might have purified the water, but then the water is hungry and absorbs over 24,000 toxic chemicals from those crinkly plastic bottles. Now, if you want to buy bottled water in glass bottles like Mountain Valley, that's cool. I think that's fine.
I think filtering it on your own. I've been
it's always best right at that
buying the distilled water for years and years and years, and just recently I've been using the structured water, which I'll tell you, it's amazing.
Visit our site, Thorogoods.com. Our partner, Robbie Bessner, worked hard to create a technology that brings affordability to water filtration, and not just filtering it, but structuring it and energizing so it's healthier for you. But getting back to Hayes, he's been fighting Syngenta and to report the harmful effects on atrazine for decades now. And his scientific papers describe how atrazine demasculinizes male gonads, producing testicular lesions associated with reduced germ cell numbers in fish, amphibians, reptiles, and mammals. And
so we're listening to this. We're again talking about bacteria that's affecting the fish. The bacteria could help the fish, but in this case, it's not because of the drug.
What we learned from Dr. Zach Bush is that the microbiome, these different microbes in our bodies, are actually the ones that flip the gene switches.
Wow.
They are like, I think about it like this way. Think about that old picture of a telephone switching room.
Right,
you see in the movie where the girls are going like this? That's what the microbiome is doing. They're going, oops, let's flip that switch. Oh, we got that gene. Oh, the gun's there. Okay, let's pull the trigger on that one. Yep. That's what's happening. Yeah. And then we mess with that stuff. So, these effects are strong. I mean, he says consistent across vertebrate classes. And the reduction in the androgen levels and the induction of estrogen synthesis. We are an estrogen-dominant world due to these pesticides. Right. Demonstrated in fish, amphibians, reptiles, and mammals. It's crazy. So when we see this happening in nature, we have to remember we're part of nature, and it's happening to us too. But what happened? Big agriculture targeted this guy, So other scientists have come forward to corroborate Hayes' claims, but not until after Syngenta dumped a 102-page document trying to discredit the scientist.
They got 80 million pounds of the stuff is used annually.
It's crazy.
80,000 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's
80
crazy.
million pounds, excuse me.
It's used on everything from cornfields to Christmas tree farms, and it's one of the most pervasive chemicals in agriculture. And they actually asked Hayes to research the chemical, but after he found the results, which the manufacturer of atrazine didn't expect, they did not expect him to uncover the dangers of this. He was targeted in ways that sadly have become familiar to so many whistleblowers. And I love these whistleblowers. They're my heroes because they're brave enough to stand up to these corporations. So what do we have to worry about now in our water? We have lead in our water. We have fluoride, and now we have atrazine. I mean, we have a lot more in our water,
yeah.
but you know, in typical bio-warfare fashion, this chemical is being used everywhere. And while we fret about fluoride and lead, rightfully so, in our drinking water, an even more sinister chemical, or chemicals, is being forced into our groundwater, and it eventually seeps into our municipal water supplies, and it's feminizing our gene pool.
One of the real problems, Paige, is how we do our gardening or our agriculture. When you go back to nature like I did last couple of weeks and look at the way nature does its way of gardening itself, you see the aspen trees, you see then a whole area of the pine trees, but you don't see these large expanses. What happens, of course, you get a large area where they're just aspen trees. You have bugs that go in there and go after the aspen trees, and then they slowly die off, and then that's taken over by the pines, and vice versa. This is the way nature naturally works, and it's a nice
survival
way.
of the fittest,
Exactly.
And the pests are there usually to eat a plant that is not
under stress.
That's under stress. It's
Already.
It's already under stress. We need to eliminate you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So nature does this in a nice way. However, we eliminate all the things that make nature do this. So, and that's the real problem. We really have to go back to thinking about how nature does it, and then we kind of help manage it. This is the way the American Indians did it, especially in California, in those areas where they had really beautiful forest lands. Now we call parks. The reason they're parks and the reason they're pristine is our indigenous people knew how to handle these things.
They knew exactly how to do it.
So this is the real problem here. It's how we do the agriculture. It's not that we do agriculture. It's really how we do it. We should actually let Mother Nature takes its course and then reap the benefits from what Mother Nature has given us. We don't have to do a lot.
Right.
We have to do a lot less. And the problem is we're doing too much.
I agree. Let nature's wisdom. But let's get back to this atrazine. And atrazine, it affects men adversely. But what about women? It's affecting women because it's causing low estrogen levels and irregular menstruation. And all in all, this chemical acts exactly as many other UN agenda poisons. Did you notice what I just said? I'm reading from the article. The other UN agenda poisons do, from chemtrails to vaccines, BPA. These are all known xenoestrogens. And these are in pharmaceuticals, they're in birth control pills, and they pass unharmed through sewage systems into our drinking water, and it makes fertility a Russian roulette. And fertility in the country, the United States, is almost at a 50% infertility rate.
It's really bad. So many people are going to these clinics for,
50 grand. Hey, again, remember what
everything's a money.
How did this article start? That first article, a business that's in the business of making.
Most of the businesses now in the United States are those types of businesses. The whole stock market is based on this.
It's really rather disgusting, I think. And this is what this article says. Are we to believe that a chemical that causes complete chemical castration in male African claw frogs isn't going to have a similar effect on us? More than, as you mentioned, more than 80 million pounds of this stuff is used annually. But with all the false flag attempts and Flint, Michigan water crisis, who can keep up with the numerous ways they are trying to cull the masses, according to the author.
Yeah.
So
that's the way I see it too.
Here we go, guys. We'll be right back.
Hi,
I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Up next, 9 before 9 with John Logan on TFNN.
Okay, so what do we do about getting rid of this stuff that's already in us?
Let's talk to one of our favorite people. I forgot to turn my phone off. Should I turn it off or let it ring?
No,
I'll never find it. Oh, well, we'll stop in a second. Who calls me this early? Anyways, this is from Mark's Daily Apple. Mark Sisson gives us some ideas. He says conventional wisdom has decreed that detox is a myth. And they're not even sure if toxins even exist, as far as I can tell, he says. And that's kind of what we hear. They're claiming that these pesticides are not toxic to us, and we know that's not the case. But then on the other hand, we've got a lot of detox gurus recommending all kinds of concoctions. So, where's the truth and, where's the lie? What's the in-between?
Do a detox yourself and you can kind of feel it.
I truly believe that our body was naturally designed to detox on its own. However, because we are living in an ever-increasingly toxic world, we really do sometimes need to help. So first, detoxification does exist, and it's an established concept, and with its very own spot in the dictionary. How about that?
Yeah, and the first one we always go to are like saunas.
Right. So there's very different ways to detox. The detox fanatics, meanwhile, overstate their case with frequently referring to flushing and die-off, and they seem to think that detox is about using outside agents to impose order on the body from the top down. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but in reality, the body does come equipped with its own detoxification abilities. sometimes we just need to assist it. And what are the detoxification abilities?
Well, one of the things, too, is remember we talked about just having the nice cold glass of water in the morning, of pure water, and that helps your body go into a detox mode right away.
Well, it's been detoxing all night. Now you need to help.
Too.
Yeah, you almost need to hydrate and help move it on out.
Yeah.
Really, we're doing a lot of detox work while we're sleeping. The body's doing cleanup.
And naturally, when we exercise, we detox because of the sweat.
Yeah, but let's go. We do use our liver and our kidneys and various endogenous antioxidants, the glutathione, the catalase. All of these things really help us to the SOD, superoxide dismutase. These are all powerful endogenously created antioxidants that help us neutralize the damage. Yeah. But we can improve the function and the capability of these things either by actively supporting them or else getting out of their way. So number one, feel the heat, like you said. Yeah. Applying heat just feels good, and saunas are extremely effective.
Especially the infrared.
It's because the infrared light does go down into the fat cells, which is where we store our toxins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sweating, we mentioned that too. BPA shows up in sweat. Different kinds of metals and things like that also. Some things you don't think about, like drinking coffee, is a natural detox. Some of the teas that have caffeine in them and other things. The green teas are wonderful for that.
Yeah, but before we get into this too, it's kind of like he says, there's always a side. Sometimes people get in the saunas, they start to feel a little worse because they haven't been acclimated to allowing that to work, and there can be other things that interfere, such as the heat shock proteins that can actually interfere. But you're right. Let's go on to some of the things because we got a short segment here. Yeah. Here's some other things. So eat your cruciferous vegetables because they have a lot of those sulforaphane. It's a potent activator and a little known but extremely important antioxidants called quinone reductase. Yeah. These really help us move a lot of these toxins, process them.
Of course, amino acids do the same thing. Besides building up, they get the bad stuff out. And then for real problem things, we have the chelation agents, which we use to get rid of the heavy metals.
The fulvics and the humics, right? Yes. Yeah, and fulvic and humic acids are natural chelators, and they really help to move a lot of these toxins out. So using the Primal Edge or getting them through other sources is really crucial. Hopefully we're going to see more companies that help to remediate the soil. I know I learned that from Dr. Zach Bush, that they're working on getting the fulvic humic acids out into agriculture. That'll be good for us.
Yep.
Hopefully you have a great day.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. See you next time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.